Good morning, students. Today we will be doing the sixth chapter of science, changes around us. So, this is a very simple and very easy chapter that we are going to see today. That what are the changes that are happening around us in our environment, on us, and all the what is that atmosphere, so that we will be understanding in this chapter. So let's start, let's begin in this chapter, changes around us. So what is a change? Change is a continuous process. It is the law of nature. Changes take place around us all the time. So let's take a look at some common changes that are happening around us. So all of us are born as a small baby. So our body grows, our weight increases, our height increases. Okay. After all the passing all the stage, we finally reach the old age state. Okay. In fact, during our entire life, our hair, our nails keep on growing. So, right? So, what kind of changes is this? This is a change in size. Similarly, is the case of in animals and plants also. From the small seed which we saw in the soil grow and turns into a plant, then grows into huge tree. Okay, now we see the change in temperature. We see summers are very hot, whereas day night season is very cold in winter season. So what kind of changes is this? This is a change in temperature and change in seasons. Change in seasons are observed in a day-to-day basis. Some days are it's really hot, and some are not. In summer, the days are very hot, and where the days are very cold. Okay. Now all the planets of the solar system are continuously revolving around the sun. We know that, right? So what kind of change is this? This is a change in position. They are continuously changing their position. All right, now we see change in color. During sunset or sunrise, the color of the sky is somewhat, you can see in the first picture, yellowish. Whereas the sky appears to be blue during the day and it is clear. Whereas at night, the sky is dark at night and it appears dark. So what kind of change is this which you observed during the daily basis? It is the change in color. So when we put for water for boiling, after some time it starts forming a vapor. You know that, right? You have seen that. So what is happening? The liquid is changing into gaseous state, right? Similarly, when the ice cube is melted or melting, the solid state changes into liquid state. So what kind of changes is this? This is a change in state. Okay, so now we want to know that can we group classify these changes? Is there any similarities between these changes? Are all equal changes? So that's we are going to see. Yeah, changes are into two various types. One is reversible, one is non-reversible. Non-reversible changes are also called irreversible. Okay, all right. So now we'll be seeing the reversible changes, okay, and non-reversible also. So first we will study about the reversible changes. So changes that can be reversed, that can come back to its original state back, okay, as the name suggests, reversible, that can be reversed, and you also can obtain the changes substance in its original form before it was there. Okay, so let's take an example. So you see a paper here, okay, original substance, and you made a paper boat. So this was the original substance, paper, and we made a paper boat out of it. So this is a change in substance. So this is change in substance. Okay. So now I want my original substance back. Okay, I want my paper back from my boat. Okay, from the boat. Yes, I can get the paper back. I just want to, or I just have to unfold it, then I will get the paper back, right? So it will be little not so means in a straight way, but it will be in its original piece. So the change that is reversed from to another substance to again to original substance is called reversible changes. Okay, all right. So let's take one more example. You can see here again we have paper and we have crushed into a piece. Okay, and I want this paper back. So can I get this paper back? Yes, I can get. Again, just you have to unfold and make it a plane, okay, in a uh, first position. So that's why we get the original substance back. That's why it is a reversible change, that the substance we are getting back again into a paper form, okay, which can be reversed. All right, you understood this? So now we'll talk about the irreversible change. So what is irreversible changes? Irreversible changes are the changes that cannot be reversed. Changes is permanent. After you change one substance, that will be permanent, that cannot come back. You cannot obtain that into original substance. Okay, you cannot get that original substance back. So that is called irreversible changes. It is always, it will be permanent. Okay, so you cannot, if you burn the paper, then that has changed into different substance, that cannot you cannot get that paper back, right? So we'll take some of the examples, like the first form we have taken, the boat. Okay, original substance was a paper, we made into a boat. Okay, then now we have put this boat into a fire. Okay, so now we cannot get that paper back, right? It has changed into a different substance, totally a different form. So that's why we cannot get that paper back. We cannot get the original paper or original boat that we made. That is called irreversible change. Did you get that? So these kind of changes, you cannot reverse the change and cannot get the original substance, are known as irreversible changes. All right. Okay. So now I believe that you have understood the reversible changes and irreversible changes. So reversible can be reversed and get the original substance back, but in irreversible changes, we cannot get the original substance back. We cannot reverse thing, okay? But in reversible, we can reverse thing. That is the difference between this. So, so now we will take some examples of reversible and irreversible changes. Okay, and you have to guess whether it was reversible or irreversible changes. Okay, let's start. Okay, you can see here the two state of ice creams. The topic is melting. So first form is original state and next form is change melted state. In a hot summer, the ice cream has start melting and I want my ice cream back in a original state. So can I get this back? So yes, I can. How? We have to freeze that in a freezer or in a refrigerator where there is cold. Okay, so I can get this thing back as an original piece or original state. That is called reversible change. So the next one is other example, chapati. Okay, making chapati or roti. So first substance you can see here is original substance. Now I have turned into change substance into fully chapati from making in the what is that, pan. So can I get this chapati into original substance? No, right? We cannot change that. That is called irreversible change. So that was the irreversible change. Now take an example of blowing air in a balloon. Now you see the first picture, there is a balloon, so you blow it, okay. Now you blow all these what is that, balloons into air, you fill the air and you just collect there. After that, if you want again this balloon, can you get this substance, can you get this balloon back before you had before into original substance? Yes, you can get that, just remove the air. And this will be which changes? This is reversible changes, okay, that we are getting balloon again. So that is reversible changes. The substance that we get back is called reversible changes. All right, now one more example is there. So using pencil or eraser, okay. So I purchased a pencil and an eraser, but after some time, after using it for some days, uh, you know, this it's got shorter, it became small, and eraser also got smaller because of using. Okay, so now I want this my pencil back as I bought has original piece. So of course not, I cannot get. This is irreversible changes. Okay, did you understand? So we cannot get this thing back. That is called irreversible changes. So now we have freezing. Okay, what kind of changes are freezing? So when we ice, when the water is freezed into ice, so can we get back this ice into water again? Yes, we cannot. We can get that if we keep this ice into a normal temperature or hot temperature. We'll get this water back. So this is reversible changes. So now we have juice making, okay. So now we made a juice out of these oranges. So can we get these oranges back from juice? No, it is irreversible changes. So another example is making curd, okay. Making curd out of milk, can we get this curd again back to milk? No, this is also irreversible changes, okay. So mixing sugar in water. So now we want to get back the sugar into original substance. So can we get? What do you think? We have, okay. What do you think? We will get this original substance back. Yes, we can get this what is that, sugar into original basis, original substance. This is reversible changes if we freeze that. So next one is cooking. Take some eggs, okay, and make into omelets. Then take this some cakes and make into ice cream. So can you reverse this? Reverse this. This is irreversible changes. All these food items that you make from vegetables to some curry. So again we take dough balls, okay. We are making dough balls. These dough balls you can see in the middle, and we are making into chapati. So we didn't like the shape when we make the chapati. Sometimes it is not very circular, okay. So if we want to make again, so can we get back this into dough ball? So yes, we have not made the chapati because we have not roasted in the fire, okay. So we can get back the dough balls. That is reversible changes, okay. So now next example is burning of agarbati. So it produces a ash, okay. It finishes. So can you get this agarbati back in its original form? No, right. So this is irreversible changes. So now ripening of fruits. So this the now the mango seasons are on the way coming. So when you see this raw fruit into ripened fruit, So can we change this into again raw? No, it is irreversible change. Now let's see cyclic, periodic and acyclic non-periodic changes. So look carefully at the minute and second hand of the clock. Okay. The second needle of our hand takes 60 seconds to come back to the initial position. It takes to move at the same speed. In the same way, the minute hand also comes back to the initial position after 60 minutes and continues moves at its own unchanging speed. So in the same way, night and day, low and high tide, new moon and full moon, etc. So all those are continuous cyclic or acyclic changes that we are seeing that occur after regular time intervals. So the changes that repeatedly occur after a regular time interval are known as periodics, which are continuously going to its own axis and coming back to its original form again. So there is no changes in substance or something like that, but repeatedly it is moving on. So that is called what is that cyclic changes. Okay. So now we must have seen uh, ripened fruits fall from trees. Does the fruit fall after a fixed time period? Can you predict the time fall of the next fruit? No, we cannot predict, right? So there is also a what is that periodic changes. There are this is a what is that cyclic. So the the recurrence of events such as movements of rocks and shiftings of movements, cyclones or flood cannot be predicted. So therefore, changes which do not occur after a fixed time or that is called non-periodics, okay, which are we don't know, we cannot predict when will happen, what will happen. So the seasons also sometimes it changes suddenly. So that is called non-periodic, okay, acyclic changes. Desirable and undesirable changes. There are some changes that are natural and some others changes that are affected by human beings of their own use. For example, conversion of milk into yogurt, cooking food, formation of manure from cow dungs, growing of fruit trees, blowing flowers, etc. Hence, the changes that are useful to us and give us pleasure are called desirable changes that are mainly caused by human beings that we ourselves want some change, so we can do that changes. So that is desirable changes, okay, that we are doing in our life. We want some changes in our dress, we want some changes in our food, so that we can do by ourselves, that is our desire. So that is desirable changes. So there are changes which are destructive, painful and not useful to humans, so they are known as undesirable changes. So decay of food, breaking of glass plate, flooding of river, rusting of parts of machine, explosion, burning, etc. are example of undesirable changes. So we don't want these things, these are very dangerous and this is bad for human beings, but we don't want these types of situations in our lives, but it happens. So these are undesirable. This is nature is from the, it is coming from the nature, or because of some mistakes from the human beings it is coming. So there are some changes that are desirable from one point and view, but they become undesirable from another point of view. So you can see some examples here. So rusting of iron is undesirable, but desirable for mineral siling of nature, ecology in balance. So this is also a positive way we see, another point of view we see, that is desirable, another point we see undesirable. So manufacturing silk, so desirable, but ecological imbalance, loss of silverworm, okay, undesirable. So there are a lot of problems making manufacturing silk, original silk. So manufacturing things from animal skins, it is desirable, we human needs, but killing animals for their skin is causing ecological imbalance, hence undesirable. So on the point of view it is not good. So manufacturing plastic items, since light and useful it is desirable. So this is very good for human beings. I mean, not for another purpose, but for human needed, necessary, some making some things and all, we need it. But plastic is not biodegradable, hence undesirable. It is not getting degrade soon, and it is harmful for the environment. So this is undesirable. So flood in the river. So loss of life and material has undesirable. So we don't need this flood, but increase of fertility of soil after flood desirable. So if you want good fertile, then there is a desirable for this. So curding of milk is is otherwise the undesirable change, but it is desirable when we want to make cottage cheese. So curding, making curd, some it automatically it's gets into curd. Okay, that is undesirable, but we also come to use. We can make it use from making cottage cheese, paneer from milk. If we do not heat the milk properly, then there is an increase in the level of microbes and the milk is spoiled. So nowadays, to prevent the spoiling of milk, a special technique is used. The milk is heated to a high and desired temperature and then cooled immediately. In this method, microbes that spoil the milk die and the milk is preserved. This process is known as pasteurization. This method was first used in the scientists in France. So the next one is physical and chemical changes. In a big chalk piece breaks the piece and smaller in size, but they do not differ in color or appearance. We can use this chalk piece in the same way as we use bigger chalk. Similarly, when we write in the blackboard, chalk dust keeps falling. If we collect this dust and mix it with a little water and dry it, we can reuse in this again as a chalk. So during this process, the chalk piece changes into uh, external shape, but no new products was formed. So we know that this when we keep ice in the open due to the higher temperature in the environment, the ice melts and forms water. When water is heated, it turns into water vapor. So you can see the picture. This is like changing in physical and chemical changes. So like water changes into ice and ice changes into water. That is physical. We can touch that thing, right? So the same thing is told about the chalk. So we can physically touch the chalk. So when it becomes the powder, again we can mix water and again we can get into original state. So that is the physical change. So characteristics of 1, 2, 3 star. Characteristics of physical changes are there is a change in the physical properties like color, shape, size and state. Second one, no new substance is formed. Here no new substance are getting formed. So, number 3, the characteristic properties of the substance are not changed. So these are some of the changes or characteristics of changes. Next one is energy is utilized during change. So in a physical change, heat can be absorbed or released. For example, formation of water from ice and ice from water. Okay, so you can see in the diagram here, the ice is getting to water and after getting cooler, after getting into cooler position, it is becoming again ice. So in chemical reaction also heat is either absorbed or released. For example, in the formation of nitric oxide, heat is absorbed. In water, if we pour the lime water, heat is released. So hence in all the physical and chemical changes, either heat is released or absorbed. So energy is utilized during these chemical changes. So a lot of things, like a lot of changes occurs around us daily lives. So changes can be classified, for example, as a slow or fast. Some changes are very fast and some are very slow. Some is reversible, some are irreversible, some are Silic, some are non-Silic. Desirable changes are there, undesirable, physical, chemical changes. So those changes which take a short time period are known as fast changes, while those changes that take a longer time to be completed known as a slower change. Okay, slow change. If the change products can be brought back to its original form, then it is known as reversible change. If the change product cannot be brought back to its original form, then the change is irreversible change. So those changes which occur after a fixed time and period as known as periodic changes. So while those changes which do not have a fixed time periods of occurrence are known as non-periodic periods. So no new product is formed in physical changes, while the chemical changes new products are formed. In physical and chemical changes, heat can be released or observed.